how is that? That can't be a woman singing that. It can't be, let alone a 17-year-old girl singing. And I mean this like a man. I've heard lots of female growlers, female extreme metal vocalists.
Not like
playing.
this. Yeah.
She sounds like a man. Welcome to Every Album Ever with Mike and Alex, the podcast where we listen to every single album in the world, one artist at a time. That's a whole new discography per episode. My name is Michael Mansour, and I'm joined as always by my all in black and metal co-host, Alexander Volts. Say hello.
Hello.
And today we'll be discussing every album by
Thorrs Hammer.
Ooh, easy one today. And we hinted at it last week when we covered Faith and Void, which was the most obvious Mikeist of Mike picks. Now we have the other end of it, the most Alex of Alex picks.
Yes, we went from Mike advocating for super short songs, and we unintentionally had a nice little segue into this with Greg Anderson wanting to produce or release a very, very underrated Void album.
Well, he didn't want to release the album. He was looking at their what they recorded with Discord, the compilation stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
But anyways, Potion for Bad Dreams sounds like something that would be released on Southern Lords. So we have this nice little segue, and we have one of the gnarliest doom sludge metal albums that was the stuff of legend for a while. Now bands like this are a dime a dozen, and it's easy to find this shit. But this was recorded 94, 95 and features vocals from a 17-year-old Norwegian girl.
Hold on, she was 17?
She was 17.
We're going to get into why that's mind-blowing in a second, if you don't know who this band is.
Yes, and so I came for the gimmick because I was a fan of the band Arch Enemy, which has female vocals, and at the time they had this vocalist, Angela, and that blew my mind to hear a woman sing like that and do the growls and whatever. And I had a buddy who was like, that's cute, she's killer, but you got to check out Thorrs Hammer. And yeah, you come for the gimmick and you stay for the gnarly riffs.
This was because I hadn't heard them before. I heard the name plenty of times, and they share lots of members with, I think, all the members except for the singer, with Burning Witch, who we covered in the past. Yeah, my love.
Yes, and in hindsight, I would have done this first and then Burning Witch, but yes, this Burning Witch is a little more versatile. Came out of the ashes of Thorrs Hammer.
Yes, but this. I see her name is, I mean, I can't pronounce it properly, but Runhild Gammelsæter or something.
They call her Ozma, if you want to go with that too.
Let's go with Ozma. Go with Ozma. Much easier. It's a great Melvins album. We'll go with that one. You see her on the cover singing, and I didn't really register that, oh wait, she's singing. Oh, that's the singer for the band. Okay. And then I
honestly, if you didn't know, you probably think it's cool album artwork.
Yeah, it's a cool cover, honestly. Yeah. And then I put on the album, and then, well, we're gonna hear the opening track in a second, but just to get it out of the way now, I still question how is that can't be a woman singing that. It can't be, let alone a 17-year-old girl singing. And I mean this like a man. I've heard lots of female growlers, female extreme metal vocalists.
Not like this. Yeah.
She sounds like a man. I thought it was, I double checked like fucking 3 times. Like, wait, no. She's singing, she's growling. It is uncanny. It's crazy. I can't. She goes deeper than a lot of male growlers.
And if you guys don't believe it, there is footage from 95 of them playing a live. Obviously, it's not great footage, but there is footage of her pulling it off. There are no backup vocals. There are no men backing her up. It is just her.
It's fucking crazy.
And
There's only one.
And even as they did a handful of reunion shows, and even as she's older, she could still fucking do it.
There's only one section on the whole album, because there is literally one album that we're talking about today. There's one section on the whole album where, okay, it is a girl doing it. I could hear the girlness in her voice, but not only is it still like, that's still pretty impressive, you could only hear it when the guitar and bass stop playing.
Yeah.
That's the only time you could hear, like, you could hear the girl in the voice. But everywhere else, it's a man. It's a man singing. It's a man. What else to tell you?
Because if you don't know that the like gimmick isn't really there, so all you do have is the riffs and the songs, and that's really all that matters. But for people like me, you were sold that you're like, what? And you have that novelty aspect, but also novelties wear off. If these weren't good songs, or good songs to me, at least.
For sure. So that's the thing where I think that is more of a testament to the strength of the album, is that I didn't even know the gimmick. It was on the list to like, all right, you want to cover this one? We'll cover this one. And then like, oh, what? It's very, very fascinating. It's kind of mind blowing.
And this to like make it crazier. So like they broke up because she was a foreign exchange student and she had to go back to Norway. Also,
oh wow.
Also, they like get off on a technicality that it's like Norwegian metal because of her. So that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
This woman went on to get a PhD in cell physiology. Like
that's nuts. That's nuts.
She could literally do whatever the fuck she wants, apparently.
The fact that she literally has a 1 in a million growling voice for a female, it's pretty nuts.
Yeah.
And also, by the way, I rather do cellular biology, physio, whatever the fuck you said. Yeah. That shit, it's just bizarre. It's so strange. But we have some notes here from our boy Tom Osman, our history guy who digs up a lot of dirt for us.
I bet Tom got tickled when he saw this was on the list.
Yeah, maybe. We have 2 interviews with Runhild or Ozma. One from Terrorizer in 2009, and then one from Burning Ambulance from 2008. And so what he did was they have a lot of interviews on Terrorizer and Decibel, but
they do.
They're behind a paywall. And
okay.
He didn't have I gave him literally like 3 days notice for this because so he does extracts. We have extracts, but we don't have the full thing here, unfortunately. But there's still a lot of lore. There's a lot of wiki stuff, and then I imagine a decent amount too.
Not as much as you do about punk bands, but
that's not fair though. I was obsessed. I had a problem. So what do we got here? Greg Anderson is most obviously in the band.
And Stephen O'Malley. It's so funny how much I love these dudes, but Sun just doesn't do it for me. But whatever they produce or any other band they do, I'm like, fuck yeah, it's the best.
Yeah. Doom metal in general is a genre that as much extreme metal as we've listened to on this pod and how much I enjoy it, I don't really understand what doom metal is. Like I think I see things like more currently like Amun-Ra or Amen-Ra. Is it Amen-Ra or Amun-Ra?
I don't even know. I haven't given them the proper time of day. So
I've heard them. Don't watch live footage of them. It's disturbing. But I mean that. I mean it's gross to look like body mutilation stuff. But that's like what I think of, like, okay, brutal, super slow. But the thing is, then what is sludge in that sense? Is it not just brutal and super slow also? And I love me some sludge. What's the distinction? God damn it.
I should have came prepared to talk about that, and I didn't. In my head, I can differentiate the two. If this makes any sense, sludge could go stoner metal, but doom can't go stoner metal, if that makes any sense. Like sludge is like in the middle of these like very slow, crunchy, groovy metal subgenres. I would say like doom is on one end of being punishing and dark. Sludge is like right in the middle, and then on the other end is stoner rock, where it's a little more fun. You get something like a Monster Magnet or a Caius.
Right, where the bridge between stoner rock and sludge would be sleep.
Sleep or the Melvins fit.
Yes, but yeah, I suppose so.
Nice.
Well, then where would you put St. Vitus in that? Because they're doom metal, but they sound like stoner rock.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and then there's Candlemass, which is the biggest, I would say, maybe not in terms of like popularity, but they are like the, to me, definitive doom metal band, where they're like more gothy. So to me, in my head, doom is darker, it's gnarlier. Sludge is like a happy medium.
Mm-hmm. This whole conversation reminds me of the question, because I'm in the same boat now as I was when I was a teenager, asking my friends, what's the difference between death metal and black metal? And because at the time it felt like they're the same fucking thing, but now I'm like, they're so goddamn different.
Yeah.
So different. Like my friend at the time said, death metal is more gory, black metal is more evil. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. But really it's a lot more than that. So this is kind of that same argument, but like once you just hear it and expose to it long enough, then you start to, the distinction starts to become more obvious.
It's just something you feel out, but all three are slow and heavy. That's what they all emphasize. It's already stupid because it's already a subgenre, and then we're going into like very like the nitty gritty. Yeah. This
is the nerd shit that you're here for, folks. All right. Yeah. If you want to talk about what the hell anything means when it comes to loud music that lots of people don't actually like, but we do. So today we're talking about the one record, which it was put out in 1996. Is this a complicated one? Was it like a demo, or what was the deal with this?
There was a demo, and I'm not exactly sure what was on that. I don't think it's available. So this is like, this is it pretty much. This is, they got the four songs.
It's really the 4 songs, and we're gonna be talking about 4 songs today, which is that's funny. That's the 4-song discography. Jesus Christ! But it was released in 1996, at least officially. And oh man, this title. Do you know how to pronounce this shit?
I'll take a stab at it.
All right, this is 1996's
Doom Begs. Not. I don't know. Close enough.
Dommedagsnatt. Dommedagsnatt or something like that. God damn.
Dang nasty.
Dag nasty with Brian Baker and Dave Smalley. Oh yeah, it has quite a lead in. These songs are lengthy, in case you.
It's so weird how this song is the outlier.
It is.
Because she doesn't do pretty this is the only song she does pretty vocals.
It's a shame, because if they were more often, it would be, I mean, this is kind of unsettling.
It's so eerie. It like hooked me instantly.
Me too. I thought that was a guy. I mean, first I was like, oh, there's a guy on here doing the fucking Celtic Frost ooze.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought like, oh, well, they're like backing her up. And then I looked up the footage. I was like, fuck.
That's her. God, that is about as sludgy and heavy as it gets.
I like a riff you feel like you could hold.
Yeah, you can definitely hold this riff.
Like a baby.
Yeah.
Got some weight to it.
Oh, so much weight. How is that not a man?
I will say when you're 17, you're willing to do stupid things that will harm your body later in life.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man. It feels good, man.
It feels so fucking good. I love this song so much. Lower my casket to this song.
Yeah. That's a fucked up funeral, man. Wonderful spacing.
It's their most dynamic song.
Easily. Look at that space, man. There's so much emptiness.
And it is funny that, you know, her nickname's Ozma because, you know, there's the, like, song Boris, which is
right,
almost the blueprint for something this slow.
Totally. Well, that song is lengthy and
Yes,
it gets
sir.
louder again.
Yes, sir.
Man, this is a pretty damn cool album, I gotta say. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
It's so cool, and the reason it came on my radar is because they re-released it or re-released it last year, so I'm like happy that people are talking about it again and maybe getting some new eyes on it. Because yeah, it came on my radar the first re-release or reissue in 2004, and yeah, I didn't even know it was like kind of rare. And yeah, like I said, this was at the time the stuff of legend and very much informed what I think like heavy doom metal should be.
Yeah, there's a quality to this album that, because like you said earlier, we have lots of metal like this these days, really endless amounts, but
like this sounds like a weird, arguably like bands that do it better, but I think there's always something about bands who do it first where it stays magical. Like sure, Kraftwerk sounds dated or YMO sounds dated by today's standards, but it's so interesting that it was the first and the riffs are so good.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing, because there's examples of that where I don't really agree, where I think like, oh, they're only looked at as good because they were first, but then you look at stuff where it has a special quality. By the way, you're not gonna like this, but I had the weird urge a couple weeks ago to re-listen to Naughty Boys by YMO, which was the one you gave worst.
Yeah.
And one that Robert gave best because he's out of his fucking mind. I listen to it again. I love it. I love it. It's a great album. If you're open to the how J-pop it is, which I get, this is not the episode for that, but it's a great album.
Yeah. Also, there's not a whole lot to talk about here, but maybe now that I've been like indoctrined to YMO and I've like gotten like, oh my God, like these albums are, maybe I'm ready for Naughty Boys. Because
I will say it's probably a tough pill when you're doing them all in order, because you hear this greatness, this electronic pioneering greatness, and then you hear this J-pop, and it's like, ew. But if you go in knowing that it's J-pop and just listening to the writing, they're beautiful songs. They're beautiful songs.
I might be sold on it. So
hell yeah. Oh, yeah. That's human development right there in real time.
It is, yeah.
But for this, so this, where I was saying, like, you know, we have a sludge bands, dime a dozen these days, and arguably they can do it better. They've evolved. They've had more influences. They can do more. There's something about this one that feels special. It has a certain quality to the production of it. There's if a male voice was singing the sung sections wouldn't land at all.
Yeah.
There's a cold quality that you get with her voice. She's not doing anything spectacular. She's just following the melody, but it feels chant like. It feels like Gregorian chant kind of thing. It feels scary and lonely. And it's just all the things just kind of lined up. Not to mention riffs rule. The riffs rule on this album.
Yeah, Greg Anderson and Stephen O'Malley. No shortage for riffs, obviously. Even I don't know how old they were when they recorded this, but even hoping in their 20s, I don't really advocate for bands recruiting
children,
foreign children, but
foreign children. Well, she's probably adult by foreign standards, I guess, but
it was a different time, I guess, too. But was it really? That's a different
90s rule, dude. The 90s are the best. 90s are peak Western civilization. I firmly believe that. Maybe not technologically, but
speaking about the 90s, I like this is a weird thing, but this because you bought it up. The guy from that band Eve 6.
Fuck that guy. But I have my own personal reasons, which is I'll talk about after. Keep going.
I don't know if I want to hear him. That guy rules. Shout out to that guy. He was talking about why he likes Stone Temple Pilots, and like he's like it's the craziest discography ever because they were like, hey, we're Alice in Chains, psych, we're Beatles, Red Cross. Like he acknowledged they like pulled from Red Cross, so I just thought that was pretty fucking cool.
It's funny because I don't like Stone Temple Pilots because I always felt
I don't like them either. I was just I think I bought it up in one or two episodes how I didn't know like they were a heavy influence in Stone Temple Pilots, like owes part of their career to Red Cross.
And, Red Cross. I think it's an unusual one. I think Robert was the one who said like Stone Temple Pilots, they were the band that took every trope of the 90s rock era and just blended it all into one band. Like that is pretty much what the band is.
Yeah, they absolutely did.
Yeah. As for the Eve 6 guy, he got upset at a joke that one of the Legion of Skanks guys made and started attacking him on Twitter. So that's why I don't like him. So like, all right, buddy. He doesn't got a great sense of humor, but he's got the song. All right, give him that.
I love him. I love him.
Team Alex, Team Mike. All right, take your pick.
Put my heart in a blender.
And for him, literally, I'm kidding. I don't actually have anything against the guy. I don't even know what he looks like. But so 4 songs, fucking 30 minutes, pretty much 32 minutes, 31 minutes. And I just realized it right now, but my favorite song, and it's a pretty easy favorite, is Troll. And that one's only fucking 4 minutes long.
It's the shortest, but oddly not the most accessible. Like I would say
Is it? You just say not? Really?
Well, it's pretty fucking heavy. Like
yes.
Like I think the first song is like the song to show people because you have that like eerie like Troll is like
a troll song.
It's like somehow her vocals are even nastier than, well, to my ears, like they sound nastier than the opening track, not by much, but enough. And then, oh man, that's like my favorite bass track on this. It sounds so good. I just I want to punch someone in the face when I listen to Troll.
It's the most brutal for sure. That main riff is my favorite riff on the album. It's nice. Just, I can't help but fucking move my head. It's like just a primal thing. It's so good. It's a song where if you're in heaven, if you like it, you're in hell if you don't. It's so extreme for sludge and doom. It's just, and then you're talking about her vocals being the noise. In the final quarter of the song, her voice goes deep and guttural for a male voice. It goes so you don't really hear guys with that much. Because for those who don't know how to growl, you're not actually going low. It's just an illusion. It's kind of an illusion, like a sound illusion. Yeah. You're kind of using a higher voice to do it, but you're putting so much breath into it that it creates this. You're doing this thing where, and you shape your mouth so it sounds lower. There's a lot of air. It's mostly air. So you don't really need to have a low voice to have a deep growl. but no one pulls it off. I never heard me pull it off like that fucking, like where it feels that bottom heavy.
Hearing you describe it like that, yeah, she like performed some sort of magic. She like hung upside down for 8 days and saw the ruins, but kept both her eyes.
That sounds like literally the singer for Amen-Ra. I mean, like literally what he does on stage.
Oh, for Norse nerds, that's this Odin's. Yeah. So yeah, like she like unlocked this like, because hearing you describe it, it doesn't sound like someone like me could probably more naturally do it, but it doesn't sound like an inherent advantage when you're breaking it down the way you did.
Yeah, it's not intuitive. When people like try to do what they think a death metal growl sounds like, it ends up just sounding like a Cookie Monster kind of goofy thing. Which, I mean, honestly, good growls sound like the Cookie Monster, but it's just a different technique, and it's not as bad for your voice as shrieking and screaming. That's for damn sure.
I will say her voice is even an outlier in the doom metal area, because you brought up Saint Vitus. Wino doesn't sing like that. I brought up Candlemass. That dude doesn't like it's. It's still pretty unique, even for what it's doing.
Yeah, and even if you look at Burning Witch, vocals definitely not like this. Way higher.
Yeah.
Way.
Yeah.
Honestly, I much prefer these vocals.
Oh wow!
For this type of band, because I tend to go more towards shriekers than growlers, but for this type of thing, for this fucking slow, heavy, punishing thing, I do like the deeper stuff.
It like rumbles and stays with you with those big, heavy riffs.
Yes.
Your favorite riff was on Troll on the title track. I'm using the term main riff loosely because it's a like 12-minute song, but it's the riff that repeats and you remember the most. That is some of the greatest sludge doom riffage.
Is it the one with the trills, the guitar trills?
Probably.
Yeah, because that, I mean, I noticed that around 2:30. That's some serious sludge metal shit right there. But it's obviously because this is a much more brutal album. It feels a lot less deserty and a lot more fucked up and mean.
Yeah, you bring the Pacific Northwest America with Norway, this two cold places on planet Earth, and you get this shit.
Oh yeah. And then that section around 4:30. No. There's like a super guttural section around 4:30 with a double kick that feels really good. But the part that I was mentioning earlier, it's around 6:50. When the bass and guitar drop out, it's just double kick and the growls.
Yes.
That's when you could tell it's a female. That's the only time we're like, aha.
So not only that, like that moment is like what I assume EDM fans experience on a bass drop. Like, and it's not even
so different for us.
It's not the same, but like, there is something about this song when all the other instruments drop out, and it's the vocals and that like double kick, and you just like feel it like pounding in your chest. And I think that like speaks to how the album is produced and probably remastered as well. And the like, sometimes when you listen to extreme music, you can take the double kick for a novelty, or it's just part of the music, right? It's just there, and you don't really appreciate it as much. But the way it sounds when everything just like drops out and it's at this like steady pace, and it almost feels like your heart's like beating out of your chest.
It's amazing that the complete and utter lack of a riff makes for one of the coolest sections in the album.
Right.
It's just it's so primal. It's the most primal thing. It's one of the most primal things I've heard in metal, where it's just growl and double kick, and it sounds grimy. It's not polished at all. It's not cleaned up. It's not a bad recording by any means, but it's not like, it doesn't feel very professional, or like they spent a lot of time mixing it. It just feels like
I think it's like
it feels very real.
Yeah, I think it's like 2 days.
Yeah, honestly, if this was cleaned up and shinier and clearer,
it would lose its charm.
It would lose a lot about it that makes it interesting, and that even goes for the closer, which is the title track is only 8 minutes. The closer is the one that's 12 minutes, and it's live, and it's not a good live recording.
No, it's not, but it somehow blends seamlessly with at least in my head.
Well, there's a thing.
It's different, like it's different, but it's good enough.
That's the thing with that. It's reason why I ended up liking it. Well, the song is cool, but I mean, like the fact that it's live, it's because it comes on and you hear an obvious shift. Like, oh, it sounds much worse. It sounds like a live recording in the 90s, but what it immediately gave me was a serious Norwegian black metal feel, classic Norwegian black metal, and better than that, those recordings sounded really, really shitty. But like a better balanced version of like the first 3 Dark Thrones or whatever, where it sounds like they're in a basement somewhere. It sounds really fucking scary and claustrophobic.
They probably were.
Yes. But also you're not really, it's not like tinny. It's not, well, it's a little tinny, but it's not like, it doesn't hurt your ears. It's balanced pretty fine. And then cause the song is 12 minutes. After a couple minutes, it just you just blend right in. It just becomes what it is, because even the studio tracks, they're not amazing recordings. They have this character to it that makes you feel like it's dirty and grimy and shitty and dark and evil. So it ends up just becoming another one of those. It's jarring at first, but once it goes on for a little bit, it just becomes, this is the type of album this is in general.
Yeah, it works for me because the other 3 tracks are more like primal and brutal, but here the riffs feel more evil in like a Black Sabbath sense. Not that it like fully commits to that, but there's just moments where you're like, okay, it's like 5% less punishing.
It's definitely the most evil of riffs for sure. But yeah, it's a punishing song. It's very like even as much as I love the album, this song is one where it's like it gets dragged out in the middle quite a bit. If you're not super into sludge and doom, that middle chunk is rough.
I'd be okay. I'd be okay with this song being 8 minutes, but like we only got the 4 songs, so whatever. It's 12.
Exactly. Around the 8-minute mark, 8:20 or so is when things kind of pick back up again. But yeah, it's still a cool song, and it has this. I think if it weren't live, weirdly enough, I would like it less.
Interesting.
The fact that it's so shitty and it feels so scary and it's messed, just grimy.
It's the most spacey too.
It is like, yeah. I mean, it's the longest. It takes its time the most. But I'd say that aside from like the super evil riffs, it has a lot that kind of drags on. But yeah, I often get the craving for brutal, raw sludge, but these days it kind of comes with other stuff. It comes with, and the other stuff can be good stuff, but sometimes you want animal. This is animal.
Pure, uncut heroin.
This is as pure as it gets, and I love it. It feels great. If it was recorded this year, it wouldn't feel right. It would be too good, or it would sound too good. I don't want it to sound that good. I'm not like a purist about anything. It's just something about a characteristic sound. And it doesn't always mean it's a good sound. It's something that makes you feel something.
Cause there are 2 female fronted doom sludge bands that I like a lot, but I also understand that, now there's so much of it. And I'm not going to say their name because I don't want it to seem like I'm talking shit, because I'm not, because I love them. But
right.
You have that now, and they kind of package their stuff with like classic rock or whatever. This from the pure evil depths of people's souls, and I love the 1-2 punch of this and Burning Witch, and how they're actually pretty different bands if you listen to it back to back.
Very different.
Yeah. And I like that they have the one album, and you could like just sit down and listen to both and compare and contrast if you want.
That's a painful day if you're going to do that. You're
Absolutely.
Mainline Thor's Hammer and Burning Witch. Jesus.
I mean, yeah, if you're a Southern Lord fan, you're probably down.
It's great though. I mean, I love that Burning Witch record. I mean, it's a lot to sit through in once. It's a very long one. This is only 32 minutes. That one's like, 70 something. I think like a 2-disc. Yeah. And I think were they EPs, but they're just album length EPs.
They threw them all together on on the one.
Yeah.
It's technically a compilation, but
that's right. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's a cool little chapter in metal. I would say it's obviously a very brief chapter, and it didn't really. Have a splash.
Like getting indoctrined into this like subgenre of metal. Yeah, it's my favorite. It's the most fascinating to me. It feels the best in my soul for some reason. So
it does. It is moving. It's the thing. Like, yes, it's the most difficult thing. The difficult type of metal, at least to pitch to most people, but there is something, even if you hate it, you're not going to deny that it does something. Like, where like there's a lot of people like hardcore or like whatever the fuck metalcore kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, fine. People like that stuff, but there's like when you hear that, you kind of just hear what people imagine as metal, like people who don't listen to metal as metal. They've heard metal, the generalized metal before. They hear that, they lump that in. They hear like this just generalized kind of thing. It's very tight, very clean, just solos.
Everyone's heard Metallica. Everyone's heard Dragon Force.
Yes. So you get these things that are they're polished, but they're polished to be this thing. Something like this, it's metal, but even a normal regular person who loves life and loves spending time with their families and doesn't listen to this shit, you put this on and they know it's not that. Like,
yes,
people who don't know metal, you can feel this is primal, man. This is real shit. This is fucked up.
Yeah, it does speak to like the deepest, darkest parts of one's soul, but it's also a release. Before slow metal used to give me anxiety. I was just like, rip the fucking Band-Aid off already. Why are we doing this?
Yeah.
And I don't know what it was. One day it just like my brain, like a switch went off, and it was like, no, this is actually really impressive. Playing really slow is almost up there with playing really fast, and how difficult it is.
It takes restraint. It takes a good sense of time, of course. Good sense of time is a lot more rare and difficult than people kind of give credit. Mid pace is like, even if you have bad rhythm with mid pace, you can kind of pull off. Slow is like you have to be really focused. So or oddly super duper high. I don't fucking know. There's a weird overlap there.
There's a weird like Rain Man thing going on there.
yeah. I don't know how the hell Sleep did it, but it's just a different muscle. And it's a different thing, and it's obviously just as off-putting and abrasive as lightning speed fast. For it's a bell graph. That's all it is. It's a bell graph. Yeah, but still a pretty sick ass album. And if you want to hear truly the most gnarly, insane female vocals ever recorded, show me another female vocalist who does it this convincingly like a man. I mean, seriously.
Because like
that's nuts.
Off the top of my head, like there's OTEP, there's the numerous female vocalists in Arch Enemy, and then like I don't really know. I'm sure there's some other ones, but like, yeah, I don't know. Runhild she's a fucking Valkyrie.
Indeed. Jesus Christ. So after this, she formed a Clist with James Plotkin and Tim Wiskita.
They only got one album. They only got one album.
That'll be another easy one to cover. Yeah. I probably pronounced all those names wrong, but whatever. Her name's hard too. But yeah, that came out in 2006. That was Chaos Is My Name. And apparently, according to this piece, a deliberately hard to find live DVD, Chaos Live, which is
weird.
Come on, man.
Yeah,
it's odd. In 2008, she did a solo record called Amplicon, but this is where they reunited in, was it 2009? Yeah, it was 2009 for Birmingham's Supersonic Festival. This interviewer asked, people often have quite a cynical view of bands getting back together, and rightly so. So why was now the right time to do this? Osman said, we didn't want to do a reunion previously because we thought it's sort of cynical, not cult, and not true, as we say in metal. All members of TH are old friends. I still call Steve when I have a broken heart. I love those guys
that's
to death.
Sweet.
That's pretty sweet. But we are getting old. People are having babies, careers, living all over the world, rarely seeing each other. We love the idea of having an opportunity to fly everyone in, spend time together, and experiencing the vibe between us again. Maybe the last opportunity we have to do that. Jesus Christ. And then they also ask, how are you occupying your time between Thor's Hammer and Kleist? Were you still engaged with music? Have you been working on any other projects more recently? And she says, when I left the States and TH disbanded, I studied for 10 years at different universities, getting my PhD. Cliffs came out in 2006, but James and I had been working on that for a year or so before the release. I worked minimally with music while I studied, spending all of my time with books and in the lab, played some guitar at home, singing Nirvana and Graham Parsons, which perhaps prepared me for my solo record last year, or my solo record release last year. Yeah, pretty dedicated to the cause of science instead of extreme metal, I guess.
I mean, yeah, she lives in Norway. She'd be fine regardless of what she does. But
yeah,
man, yeah, what a crazy brain for knowledge and music.
Wild lady, wild stuff, but cool ass album, cool band. But yeah. This was fun. One and done, easy, 4 songs, but
another
it's
notch.
one that's going to stick around. Yeah,
another notch in the Southern Lord playlist. And
but thank you so much for listening and watching, and sticking with us. If you want to hang out longer, you know what to do. Subscribe, like the video, talk some shit in the comments, tell us why we're stupid or why we're awesome. You can follow me on all social media at Panda Monkey, and Alex on Instagram at
Every Album Alex. But once I find my barbershops open, I'm shutting that shit down. You can find me.
Find your barbershops open. What?
That's how I communicate with my bar. I'm gonna get his phone number after this, and then I'm deleting that shit. You can find me over at Blue Sky at Octatron 3030. That's pretty much the only social media I'm going like Jesse Ventura. I'm going off grid this year.
Well, if you're anything like Jesse Ventura, then you'll be a sexual tyrannosaurus.
And I'll hang out with Richard Belzer. Wait, no, sorry. That was a random joke. Sorry.
Damn it. I forgot the guy's name in fucking Predator. What's his, the black guy, the other black guy, the scary one. Carl Duke? No, that's the name of the movie.
No, because he has one of the most memorable faces. Oh no, Carl Weathers is in Predator.
He is in Predator, but it's not Carl Weathers. It's the other guy.
Yes, Bill Duke as Mac.
Bill Duke. Yes. I said Carl Duke. Bill Duke. There we go. Hell yeah. What was I talking about? Why did I bring up Bill Duke? Fucking, you're hanging out with Bill Duke.
The godfather of African American cinema. I didn't even know people called him that. I didn't even know
Does that really believe what they call him?
They call him that. He's 81-year-old. God bless this man.
He does rule. He's a very bald man in Predator. And also be sure to follow our history guy, Tom Osman, at Tom Osman Sounds, and all social media, as well as TomOsmanSounds.com for all his music and his podcast, whatever comes next, where he interviews underground indie musicians. And it's very nice stuff, especially if you're a nerd about how to make music in this day and age. My EP, there's a link to that in the description. And most importantly, patreon.com. That's where you go, baby. Bonus episodes, you get two bonus episodes a month. You get to see our schedules in advance. You get to vote on polls to decide who we cover next. You get to join the Discord, be a part of the community. And that's where you can suggest brand new albums that have come out this year. And we can do short singles episodes on those. And if you're tier 2, then you can suggest a full discography for our bigger, longer numbered episodes. In addition to any album for a Patreon bonus episode. So there's plenty to do. It's very cool. Closing it out. What should we listen to?
Let's just keep this easy. Let's just do Troll because everything
it's
else.
The shortest.
Yeah, everything else is a mission.
It is a mission, but it's also a really, really good ass song. Hell yeah. So thank you so much for listening and watching. See ya.